America is going to be the poorest country in the world starting now. You're going to see the biggest crashes happening right now. So that's good for me because the price of gold and silver go up.
That's interesting because most people in India until the last decade have been migrating to the US, thinking that that is where is the land of opportunity to pursue the great American dream. But over the last 2 years, we've seen an increasing number of people coming back in droves back to India because that's where they're seeing the opportunity. So that is a very interesting shift that I never thought would happen so quickly in my lifetime.
Is the American empire collapsing?
Yes, it is. The question, the key question for everyone to be asking themselves, especially those in leadership, is how fast? And then the second question is, how do we arrest it to a certain extent? You can't stop it. It's impossible. But you can arrest it, and you can build a glide slope down which the empire slides, if you will, because there are equals in the world now. China, of course, is one of them. With nuclear weapons, you must say that Russia is one of them. And India comes very close to being one of them. It's a multipolar world now. You can't have a hegemon that is all things to all people 24/7.
America's downfall won't be caused by foreign enemies, economic collapse, or lack of innovation. It will be destroyed by the very things it was built on: racism, greed, power, and the exploitation of the marginalized. So let's start with racism. America's had a centuries-long addiction to white supremacy, from slavery to Jim Crow to mass incarceration to modern-day suppression. The system wasn't just built on racism, it still depends on it. And you can't build trust and unity and long-term prosperity when the foundation is hatred and division. Now let's talk about the power, because America doesn't just chase power, it hoards it. At the very top, power is concentrated in the hands of a few, bought and sold through billion-dollar lobbying firms and dark money, and the people at the bottom, well, they're distracted and divided and disposable. But power with no accountability always turns inward. It eventually devours its own. Then there's greed. America's true religion. Every institution, healthcare, housing, education, even justice is for sale. The rich don't pay taxes, corporations exploit workers, billionaires fly to space while families can't afford insulin. And no emperor has ever survived when it values profit more than people. And finally, exploitation. This country built its wealth off the backs of stolen people on stolen land. And to this day, it thrives off keeping Black, brown, indigenous, immigrant, and poor communities in struggle. It's modern day plantation capitalism, wrapped in flags and hashtags. But here's the warning. You can only ignore the cries of the oppressed for so long before the system breaks. While America continues to argue about whether racism is real, the rest of the world is moving forward, investing in education, universal healthcare, green energy, and collective progress. They're building bridges, America's burning them. And yes, if this country doesn't confront its demons, it will collapse from the inside out. Not because of the lack of greatness, but because of its refusal to share that greatness with everyone. The future won't be stolen by guns or war. It will be lost in boardrooms, courtrooms, and classrooms where equity is denied and truth is buried. And when America falls, it won't be a tragedy. It'll be a consequence.
The question is, what do we do now? Do we sit down and watch America collapse to be the poorest country in the whole world? That is just the first question that I keep asking myself. And that is why I was able to roll out some clips so that you guys can actually see first before I come here to introduce myself. Do not worry, I have good ones for you to also feed on. And I'm going to go ahead and roll out those other clips. But let me know what you think in the comment section about this particular video. A lot of people are coming out to say America is collapsing. America is no longer what it used to be. American is soon going to be the poorest country. American is going to be this, American is going to be that. And let's just be honest, have we not been seeing this? We've been seeing it. We've been seeing it gradually that the wall is cracking. But is this our prayers for American? No. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time you're tuning in, do what? Subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. And this is just for educational purpose. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And yes, with that being said, let's continue this video and I will come back with commentaries. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Let's go there, guys.
America is collapsing before our very eyes. Restaurants are closing their doors for good in my city at a record pace. They're blaming it on a slow season, but I think it's something else. You can't tell me the amount of abandoned strip malls that I drive by on a daily basis is normal. I know you've seen it too. All these places just get replaced with the capybara cafe de jour or a flower store to placate the masses, if you know what I mean. There used to be 24-hour diners, family-owned restaurants, even bookstores, I don't know, third spaces. Now, nothing. Luxury apartments that sit vacant forever. Grocery stores that have been closed for 10 years. So much wasted space in empty parking lots until some TikTok trend comes, opens for 6 months, and then that closes too. I know I'm not alone in this, but yet every single time I bring it up, I get all the bots in my comments telling me the economy's never been better. But I ask for who? Like 100 people at the top? So the billionaires are doing great. I don't care. People like you and me, we're struggling out here. All my friends live in vans. And if we are lucky enough to have apartments or houses, we're living behind locked doors and closed blinds because there's no community here anymore. Restaurants are just the beginning. They're the canary in the coal mine. Once they're gone, so are all of our meeting places, our birthday parties, our community, and third spaces. They're not just a place to buy food. They're a pulse of the neighborhood. And also, as a live singer, something hugely important to my job. I used to sing 5 nights a week. Now I'm lucky if I can find a Sunday night gig. So I'm just here to say, if this is what a booming economy sounds like, it must be the sound of doors slamming shut. And I don't know about you, but I'm making my exit plan. We're moving to Portugal soon, where they still have cafes and restaurants that people actually go to. If you find that interesting, stick around. Because I can tell you this is not normal. And don't let internet comments gaslight you into thinking it is.
Oh my gosh. Guys, the world has been ending since I was a kid. It's one of the benefits, I guess, of growing up in a very fundamentalist church. Every 2 years was almost the end. I have sat through I don't know how many sermons about how it was finally time, people panicking that a black man was president, people panicking every time Israel and whoever else in the world doesn't get along. Again and again and again and again. It has always been the end my entire life. I don't have any space for it anymore. At some point you get to, this is stupid. I get one singular life to live. One life that's a gift. What do I want to do with it? Do I want to spend the whole thing preparing for the apocalypse like it's going to happen tomorrow No, I want to enjoy it. Okay, that's where I'm at. I guess it's one of the things about growing up very fundamentalist is after a while you get immune to people saying this over and over because so far it's never been true. And if it is true one day, then it is, and we'll deal with it. We still have most of our preps came with us anyway, so we still do have some things, but I think I've been hearing that my whole life.
Keep seeing videos talking about fascism being at our doorstep, and I'm not sure what America everyone else is living in, but fascism is already inside of the house. The democracy that we thought we had is gone. Let's start with some facts, okay? The Idaho shooter, confirmed MAGA. The assassin of the Democratic lawmakers, confirmed MAGA. House Republicans just passed a massive tax and spending bill designed to enrich the 1% and gut support to everyone else, including all of the people that voted for them. Pro-life, pro-vet, this bill spits in the face of both. Miami, Florida decided that they would just postpone the elections until next year. Why? Because they know their constituents are angry, and instead of facing accountability, they're holding democracy hostage. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has greenlit this administration to deport people to countries that aren't even their home countries. That's not deportation, that's human trafficking, and it's unconstitutional. And there are still so many people out here pretending like everything is normal, and it's not. We are being governed by people who view us as resources and not citizens. And that fact is regardless of which side of the political aisle you fall on. We are cogs in their profit machine and nothing more. And that includes red states too. Every time a hurricane hits, crickets, education, jobs, healthcare, all left to rot. Not because those people aren't worthy, but because they've been brainwashed willingly at this point to vote against their own interests just to own the libs. That's not smart. That's self-destruction. And don't tell me both sides. One side is literally assassinating political representatives. And no, Trump's fake assassination attempt does not count. One side is canceling elections. One side is redefining citizenship so they can strip it away from whoever they want. Trump said birthright citizenship was meant for slaves, and that alone should have stopped everyone in their tracks. It won't, because this isn't about politics anymore. This is about loyalty to a cult personality. The groupthink has taken over, and MAGA followers are so intermeshed with Trump, they view themselves as him. They view his success as their success, even though he does not care about a single one of them. He does not relate to a single one of them, and he won't take care of a single one of them, but he will utilize that group think and that detrimental to self-loyalty in order to ensure that he furthers his power and his wealth. He is inciting violence every single day. He's tearing families apart because they aren't from here when his family isn't even from here. His ex-wife, his wife, his children fall under the same deportation rules that he is creating and using to terrorize other people. Trump is a 34-time convicted felon who is actively committing human rights violations every single day, and people are cheering him on. I saw video footage of a detention facility in Texas full of teenagers, children, and infants, where the teens and the children are being forced to provide care for the infants. That means we have minors being forced to parent and care for other minors while they are living in deplorable conditions. No diapers, no food, but hey, they're illegal, right? There is absolutely no real pro-life behind this movement. You are pro-birth because, again, you view women as resources to give you children, to add to the cog of the machine that then they will use to fuel their power and their wealth. Like, this isn't even the full scope of the tyrannical insanity that has been occurring over the last 6 months. The chaos is so constant, most people don't even know what's going on anymore. And that's intentional. It's exhausting people into remaining silent, regardless of your political beliefs, your religious beliefs. If today, present day, you still support all of this, you still support the things that I listed in this video, you are brainwashed. You have lost all autonomy and are now a locked-in member of groupthink. And that will be a part of your destruction, a destruction that will come at the hands of the man that you gave power to. I feel so sick knowing that my tax dollars go towards all of this hatred and all of the destruction and the violation of human rights. It's sickening. We have been trapped in a society that requires us to be slaves in order for our basic needs to be met, making it that much harder for us to fight back. Every day I wake up wondering, how far is it going to go today? What's going to happen today? Is today going to be the day that it finally collapses? If it does collapse, what are we going to do? There is so much grief in realizing that the people you thought you knew, you have no idea who they are. Your fellow Americans that you thought stood for equality, that you thought stood for a country that was built on immigrants, that was, when I was a kid, we were taught that America was a melting pot, that all of us being from different places, that's what made America beautiful and strong. And I believe that. And grieving the reality of what America is, and that what we were taught was a lie, is a really hard pill to swallow. We are witnessing the collapse of democracy in real time, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed. You are not crazy. You are not alone. And your fear and your anger and your heartbreak is all real. I feel all of that right there with you. I see you. Even if everyone else around us is cheering for this or pretending like it's not happening, I see you. Please don't go numb. Please don't give up. We need each other more now than ever. Because if we don't keep standing up and speaking out, even just to say, hey, I see what's going on, I don't know what will happen. And if you are MAGA and you choose to comment bigoted or racist or hateful comments, I will just block you, okay? I will not be platforming you. I don't care care if that boosts my analytics.
He said, just make sure to tell them that California is going to break off into the sea. It's going to break off into the sea. It's going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. I'm going to be completely done with it. That's why he's going to break it up for parts. And then when it's so broken up that the people inside are broken up and exhausted, then he's going to hand it to the Russians, because you know what? The punishment is not complete until the person you hate the most gets the thing that you love the most. That is judgment prophecy for those who are listening. It's not done until the thing your heart loves, which was never Jesus, it was always this place, he's going to hand it to Xi and Vlad. And then the arc will be completed, which is why I said Russian prophecies are the most important prophecies of this blog. If you don't understand where America ends, everything I say, it will just seem confusing and haphazard to you. But if you're listening to how this thing is being read out, then you will understand. So that was it. Because the curse won't leave the land, God is going to basically do away with the land mass itself by sinking it under the ocean for perpetuity. And that will be the end of it. When there's nothing to fight for, those of you who survive in foreign countries, when you finally watch it live on the drones that Al Jazeera and WEON will have all over the sea, then no matter when that is, you will finally believe that there was a prophet in your midst telling you all the things that were coming upon you. So
America is falling. The fall of the American empire is inevitable. It is already started. The United States is collapsing under the weight of its own corruption, its own greed and delusion. The billionaires, the Christian extremists and power-hungry politicians running the government aren't just looting the system, they are burning it down. They have replaced governance with fanaticism, diplomacy with threats, and reality with conspiracy theories. They gut agencies, they erase climate data and push for a theocratic state where democracy dies in the name of God and prophet. They dream of annexing Greenland and privatizing Gaza, ceding the Panama Canal, while dismantling the very structure that sustained American power. Foreign aid, it's never been about helping people, it's been about control. The US funds dictatorships, break unions, and rig elections to serve corporate interests. It props up the ultra-rich while working class at home and abroad gets crushed under its heel. And now, the vultures are picking apart the empire. When the US dollar loses its status as the world's reserve currency, the economy will collapse, will crash badly, and the military machine will grind to the halt. So the chaos that the American empire has inflicted and unleashed on the world will come home to roast. And when that happens, the only tool left for the administrations, for the establishment, will be the force, the brute force. History shows that empires do not fade away, they implode. The question is not if America collapses or not, but how much destruction will it cause before it does.
America is going to collapse, and it might not be today, but we definitely don't have 50 more years. It doesn't matter if Trump leaves office today. It doesn't matter what politician gets into office, because you can't put a Band-Aid on what was built broken. Putting a different politician in office is only delaying the inevitable. There are foundational flaws built with inside the system. And no one wants to admit it, but most of it has to do with institutional racism and slavery. We built our entire economy off of free and cheap labor. How long did they think that was going to last? I mean, realistically, we have another 10 years max. If it wasn't for the pandemic, this could have went on maybe another 50 years. But because the pandemic put a strain on such an already flawed economy, it has put us back at least 20 years. It has taken 20 plus years off the American life system. It no longer can live. I mean, literally, there's nothing that can be saved. Nothing. Agriculture is going to die. I mean, look at what's happening with Nevada. The reason that Nevada's economy is going bankrupt is because it literally operated off of cheap Hispanic labor. Without cheap labor, they literally cannot have an economy. They cannot afford to pay white people to work because they know white people are going to demand a livable wage. Y'all can say whatever, but the entire system runs on defrauding people. I mean, just think about the prison industrial system. Another form of cheap slave labor. It's the reason why black people get arrested and convicted at higher rates than white people, because they need a class of people to abuse in order to keep the economy going. Our economy is systematically flawed. We are screwed no matter how many band-aids we put on it. There is no way that the economy won't eventually fail. So who cares if Trump is moving it forward? Because the slow burn is going to be a lot rougher than the immediate drop.
11th, 2025, the U.S. national debt surpassed $37 trillion. It is now September 18th, 2025, and the national debt has just surpassed $37 trillion and $500 billion. The interest expense alone on the debt is now at $1 trillion. And that is likely to hit $1.1 trillion by the end of fiscal year 2025, which is the end of October. On top of this, when you look at the economic data coming out, it looks like in Q3 we are going to have a growth of GDP of about 1.2 to potentially 1.8%. This is far below the norm of 2.2 to 3.5% GDP growth. In order for us to get out of the national debt, we need to be growing at a rate of roughly 8 to 9% over the next 7 to 12 years. And in that video, I talked about how a recession is not baked in. And though it looks like we're not going to be going into a recession, we have some form of slowdown occurring. In that video, I stated that short of an AI and automation boom, it's going to be nearly impossible to have some form of huge economic growth. Coupled with this, we are seeing imports actually starting to grow while exports are staying pretty average. And this is extremely important because one of Trump's key components of this economic boom that the One Big Beautiful Bill was supposed to bring was an export boom and an import drop. This is becoming a very, very critical issue. This debt, when it does start getting out of control, it doesn't matter what they set the interest rate to. The market will determine what the price of that debt is. And if it continues to grow, the price of the money, the interest rate on the money, if we continue to show that we are not going to be able to pay it back, they're going to ask for higher interest rates. And if the higher interest rates on that debt continue to expand, then the debt will continue to expand. And we will not be able to get back to any form of health. If anything, it will just lead to further economic issues. Now, why is this important? This is important because the violence that we've seen so far in the country, when money stops to actually flow, when the interest expense starts to make it so that Social Security checks won't be able to make up for the rate of inflation, when Medicare can't be covered, when Medicaid can't be covered, when the money actually, nominally it won't stop, but when you get a $500 check in the mail, but the expenses to even buy what you used to be able to buy for that $500, let's say, is now $1,000, the violence we've seen is nowhere close to what it will be. And we need to start talking about this because it's only going to get worse. And given the fact that we are seeing some form of economic slowdown, 1.5%, let's just say, compared to the 2.5 regular growth, we're going backwards. And it's getting worse at an accelerating pace. With that, go ahead and follow. I would love to talk to you guys in the comments. Have a good day.
So The Independent got to interview Bad Bunny. If you don't know who Bad Bunny is, he is a Latin rapper, superstar, pop star. He's really, really big. And in that interview, he confirmed that the reason why he did not include the United States in his most recent tour was because he was fearful of ICE agents raiding, the aftermath of his concerts. And he cares about his Latino base, his Latino fans. But see, in his last tour, not the one that just took place, but his most wanted tour, right, where he did have a United States leg in that, he was able to generate $208 million from that. It provided jobs, for those arenas. People got paid, employees got paid, people got paid. America got paid. America lost out on that because of these ICE raids. Disney Marvel is leaving Georgia. It's leaving Georgia and it's relocating in the UK, which means all the jobs and the economy, the profit that came along with Disney's Marvel will be also relocating to the UK. Okay? It's going to definitely hit and hurt Georgia's economy. Okay, so I'm going to be reading just a small portion of the article that you can find on boxoffice.com. And it states right here that Disney Marvel films, right, have significantly impacted Georgia's economy. Black Panther Wakanda Forever generated over $314 million in local economy activity and created 1,800 jobs. Georgia's going to be losing that now. And if Georgia's feeling it, understand that the American economy is feeling it. And now there's insider tip, allegedly, right? That Unpacking is claiming that Hyundai is going to be closing their Georgia plant following the ICE raid, where South Koreans were actually legally here on temporary visas, training the employees here, the American employees, because of a recall that Hyundai had. And now it's looking like they're going to be losing that plant as well. Again, additional loss in jobs, additional loss in profit. The economy is weakening. The economy is getting weaker. The unemployment rate is rising. Okay. Hospitals are closing because we're losing benefits, right? Just recently, the CPI, right, which stands for Consumer Price Index, just reported that it rose 2.9% in August, meaning for consumers, everything is expensive. Everything is getting fucking expensive, more expensive, and money's not coming in. People are losing jobs. What the fuck is going on, Donald? And when I say that it keeps on rising, it keeps on rising. In July, it rose 2.7%. Now in August, it rose 2.9%. You combine those two together and go all the way to June, that'll just let you know exactly how much more everybody is paying for just regular basic things. Between the Trump tariffs and these ICE raids, I don't know how much longer it's going to take until we Americans are in the same position as France as far as their economy collapsing, their government collapsing, because it's looking like that's what's about to happen. Racism is really going to be the downfall of America. You let these white ass, racist ass, homophobic ass, fucking politicians and big corporation heads really fuck over this entire country and everybody that's a part of it. Everybody. Because they're the only ones that's sleeping good, eating good, laid up, comfortable. Everybody else is over here struggling and scrambling to figure out how to make the pieces work. Like, I really do not get it. All you had to do was vote in the best interest of everybody, not just your fucking self, everybody, and everybody would be good. But because you motherfuckers only wanted to look out for yourselves, now you're watching the entire American economy, the entire American government, this entire state of this country crumble before your very fucking eyes. And my only problem is, my only fucking beef is, I knew this is what was going to happen. And it could have been avoided. And now because of your bullshit, I got to figure out what the fuck I got to do. I'm going to figure it out though. Unfortunately, my people have no other choice. But this all could have been avoided.
Let's begin with the hard truth. The United States has never fully confronted the reality of systemic racism or the fact that much of the wealth that this country enjoys was built on the backs of enslaved black people. For over 250 years, from the 1600s to the end of the Civil War, millions of black people were bought, sold, beaten, and forced to labor without pay. That labor didn't just build plantations, it built ports, cities, banks, railroads, and universities. Cotton picked by enslaved hands became the engine of American capitalism. Wall Street itself, now a global symbol of finance, was once a slave market. This is not just history, it's infrastructure, it's inheritance. But slavery didn't end with emancipation. It simply evolved. After Reconstruction came Jim Crow laws, legalized segregation, disenfranchisement, and terror. Black Americans were excluded from the wealth-building programs of the 20th century, like the GI Bill and the federally backed home loans, while redlining and discriminatory hiring kept communities locked in poverty. Meanwhile, police brutality, unequal schools, and mass incarceration became the new chains. Systemic racism means this, that the outcomes for black people, people of color, in health, housing, education, and income are consistently worse, not because of individual failure, but because the system was never designed for equity. And still today, we often tell a sanitized story about America, one that praises freedom while ignoring who paid for it, one that celebrates wealth without asking where that wealth came from. To confront systemic racism, it's not just about changing policies, though we must. It's about telling the truth about our past, the truth that freedom was not free, that justice delayed is justice denied, and that if we want to become the nation we claim to be, we must begin by reckoning with the one we've actually been. That reckoning isn't a threat to America. It's the beginning of its healing.
Oh, guys, welcome back. I don't even know what to say in this video because honestly, I'm totally mute and I'm totally speechless. Because when I saw this video, especially that particular video that said America is actually going to be the poorest country if care is not taken, we can just be sincere that we've been seeing hands pointing towards that, because people should not just even wake up to say the economy has never been great. It has never been great for the poor ones. That's just the honest truth. But it has been great for the people that are rich, that keep enriching themselves. So, and it is bad that America is collapsing, but these people that are still on the top do not even care to pull out one or two information to know what they are going to do for it to actually go back to normal. But the only thing they care about is how they can systematically use their hand to keep dragging Americans backward. And of which is sad. Honestly, it is sad because whatsoever that is affecting American right now is affecting a lot of countries. I've said that on all of my videos. So I'm not just doing videos because I'm just doing videos about America. I'm doing video because whatever affects American is also affecting my own country. Yeah. It's even hitting down on us like heavier. And I don't pray for America to collapse, right? I do not pray for that. That's why when I saw this particular video, I said, no, let me bring it, lest the both of us actually educate each other. What do you think that will be done? Do you think that there is any solution that can actually bring up American back to the stage where they are? Or do you think that it just lies in the hands of the president? Or what do you think might actually be the cause? I really want you to let me know in the comment section, because the only thing I see here is racism don't pay the bills. Racism don't pay the bills. The people that really have good ideas or what they can do have not really been given that opportunity, probably because these people are not palm-colored people. Because they actually want to rule, they actually want to take over, they actually want to loot. They've been doing that for centuries, and even till now, they've not been able to grow, they've been stagnant. Okay, look at the other countries that are not even supposed to be compared to them, are now rising, are now wasting strong. In fact, as I'm talking to you guys, the rate of people complaining that they are hungry and homeless in America is way more than the rate of people that are complaining that are hungry and homeless in Africa. Let me use my country, Nigeria. I've seen a lot of videos where people literally tell you that they regret moving to US. And instead of staying in US and dying, they better go back to their country. You see homeless people everywhere. You see people that cannot even afford food. The rate is now more than Africa. And of which is it supposed to be? It's not even supposed to be. Africans are countries that are supposed to be experiencing more of this. But it's look more like the time is turning, the clock is ticking, and American is taking over the position of doing that. And it baffles me if the so-called people that are in the white supremacy house, they are not seeing it. It baffles me if the orange man is not even thinking of looking into consideration to really see what is really the problem and how do we really sort out this problem. Because the only thing that this man actually see is himself, as far as I'm concerned. But let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. Like I said, we do not support any form of violence here. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we use in our today's episode. This is just for educational purposes. I want to get your thoughts. Do you think American is collapsing? Do you think American will be the poorest country in the nearest future? What is your take on every single thing that these people actually said? I want to also get your own opinion in the comment section. Anyways, I'm going to say bye for now. And yes, with no further ado, I'll do like I always say in my videos. I'll be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.